Hi there, and welcome to Africa Beyond Borders. I'm your host, Soraya Mentor, and today's guest we have Ainley Amunyela, who's here to share her cultural experiences traveling beyond home. Hi, Ainley.
Hi, Soraya.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so excited to talk to you.
Same.
It's been a minute since we spoke, but thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
So, I do know someone has been to Cape Town. Just to introduce you guys better to Ainley. Ainley's a medical student and she's here to share her experiences going to Cape Town in the medical field. How was that for you? I mean, that's such a big question to ask. Like, firstly, when did this happen?
So this was between December of 2023 and January of 2024.
Just see.
Yeah. So it was a while back.
Yeah, but that's like a month, you know?
Yeah, it was 6 weeks that I was there
6
for.
weeks?
Yeah, 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you feel going? Oh, actually, I want to know, how did it go about being a student, and do they share students across countries like that?
Okay, so how it worked is for my course, I'm studying to be a medical doctor. So we have a module that is an elective module where you can do it anyway, essentially. It can be in your home country, you can do it abroad, and you can do it in any department. Since I was already required to do it for school, and I had a lot of freedom as to where I could do it, I looked at different places that I could do it at, and Cape Town was high on the list for me. And I basically reached out to the universities there, and through the universities they facilitated placement at a hospital in the department that I wanted. And yeah, that was basically the process. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I'm trying to get into it because when I go to hospitals, I'm just like, how do you guys breathe and live this every day? Where did your passion come from, actually?
So I always say that I've wanted to be a doctor since I was around about 13. Wow. Yeah.
She said she achieved her dreams.
I did. But how do I put it? At that point, I used to watch a lot of Grey's Anatomy. And I was just like, wow, guys, these people are so cool. They're doing the most with the babies and the kids. Because at that point, I was, when I would watch it, I had a feeling that something to do with pregnant women and babies would be like where I'd want to end up. So it just stuck with me throughout high school, and even towards the end of high school. I was wondering, do you really still want to do this? Is it just because it's been like a long-held dream? But essentially, for me, it was the intersection of science and people. So I think that's why I just really loved it. I mean, the journey has revealed a lot more about myself and the type of career I want to carve out moving forward. But yeah.
Wow, I love how you said the connection between people and science.
Yeah.
That I never actually saw that perspective. It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, going to Cape Town, were you kind of nervous going for your first time? Was it your first time going to South Africa?
No, it was my second time going to South Africa. Second time to Cape Town specifically, even.
Yeah.
Would I say I was nervous? A little, but that nervous excitement more rather than the nervous scared, because the first time I went with a group of people, not really friends. It was a travel group, and so the second time it was entirely by myself. I was doing everything by myself, scheduling my own flights, looking for my own accommodation. So it felt like a big girl move. If anything, it really felt like a big girl move. I was like, let's go explore the world. There's so much more that's out there to see.
Yeah.
So I was just nervous, excited. Yeah, nervous, excited.
Nervous, excited. I love it, especially going like alone for the first time. You're like, oh, it's on me. And when you're booking flight tickets, I'm like, did I book the right flight?
Book the right one? It was my first flight experience as well.
Really?
So that was just, that whole trip had so many little milestones.
Tell us about it.
So going there, as I mentioned, I was doing my clinical elective, and I was
Mechanical elective.
Clinical elective.
Clinical, I don't even know what that is, Ainley.
It's so as I mentioned, the elective, it's where you have the option to do a month in whatever specialty anyway. Yeah. So
it's just in the clinic. So
I chose to do a clinical one, but I remember for our year they had introduced an option of doing a research elective, or it could be a combination of both as well. Yeah, but I chose to do it strictly clinical, meaning that I was doing it in a hospital setting, as opposed to in a lab or research facility or anything else of the
Wow.
sort. Yeah, yeah. So as I was saying though, that's what I was doing, and I was doing it at Grooteskier Hospital, at the, what is it, the anesthesia department that they have there. And that experience was just so different from what we do here at home. I think the biggest shock was how big the hospital is.
Oh,
Their hospital is
you need a go-kart to
huge.
get from point A to B.
I mean, you no one would judge you if you had one, probably. Yeah, but the hospital was so huge, and they had cafeterias everywhere, which was weird. Because in our hospitals, we only have one cafeteria for the whole hospital. They would have like
I
5.
don't even think I ever sat in a cafeteria at hospital.
Really?
No.
Yeah. No, and their cafeterias are like state of the art, honestly. But they had
Wow.
a bunch across the hospital. That's how big it was. And another thing for me was, I think just the kindness of the doctors there. I mean, I know there are kind doctors everywhere, but I think everyone was just extra nice. They're nice to everyone. They're nice to the interns. They're nice to the students. They're nice to the patients. And also the way they, some of the equipment they had, it's not stuff I've seen back here at home. It would be minor things, but I was like, okay, we don't have this at home. Yeah, but all in all, it was just such an immersive experience.
Yes.
Yeah, very immersive, and just very much, I think every moment that I was there, I think for me, every time I leave the country, there's so much more than my little corner in Namibia.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think I was just taking all of that in, and just trying to learn as much as possible. Everyone was so accommodating, so eager to teach. It was just a beautiful experience. Yeah.
I wanted to know what was a day in the life of a medical training and clinical
A visiting student, essentially.
visiting student.
Yeah.
How was the day in the life of that? Because you did say you stayed in accommodation as well. Was it in the same area? What was the day like?
So the hospital that I was working at, Grooteskier Hospital, is an observatory, and the place I lived at, I don't know what one would call it, but it's a bunch of international students used to live there. So it's in the same area, in observatory as well. And a day in the life would look like me waking up. I had my own room.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. It was a very lovely accommodation. But waking up, walking to the hospital, it was around about a 15-minute walk. And when I get to the hospital, another thing was they're so strict with security there. They always check your access card. So I always had to have my visiting student card on me. And just settling in for the day, I would be assigned to a different theater for each day, because I had a supervisor, and so she assigned me to a different theater every day. So some days I'm working with the anesthesia team in the orthopedic theater. Other days I'm working with the anesthesia team in the obstetrics and gynecology theater.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was moving around from all the different theaters, ENT, ophthalmology. I'd say though my favorite was the day I spent in the neurosurgery theater.
Yeah. You saw someone's mind? I don't know why there was this thought.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen it before, even within in Namibia.
Wow.
But I think it was so much cooler because there was a patient with this huge tumor, brain tumor, and they were like drilling into his skull, and they had this fancy imaging machine that I'd never seen before. It was all too cool.
What's the machine's name?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's a fancy machine is what we'll call it.
It was a fancy machine, and it was, it had views of the patient's head and the tumor from different angles. It was just too cool. I couldn't deal.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, that sounds so cool. So do you wake up like at 6 a.m. to go, or does it just depend on the day?
So typically I'd wake up, I'd need to be at the hospital by 8. So typically I'd try to wake up at 7, 6:30-ish, because just to factor in that 15-minute walk, and then walk to the hospital and then get there by 8. Yeah.
Yeah, see. What was your diet like while you were there? Did it change? Like, did you order Chinese every night?
So I barely cooked while I was there, but I'm notorious for barely cooking.
Oh,
Yeah, so I think that didn't change much, but I did eat out a lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but in part also just because it's essentially it's a holiday as well, so you don't want to be cooking all the time, and you want to try all the different food places that they have
Yes.
there that you don't have back at home. Yeah, so it didn't change much in the sense that I still wasn't cooking as much as I used to, because school just gets hectic sometimes,
It
and you're
does.
just trying to get a quick bite here and there. Yeah, but I did explore a lot of the food places there. Yeah, so that
What was your
great.
favorite?
My favorite, I think Cinnabon. They have this
Cinnabon.
yeah, the cinnamon bun with the
Yes.
cream cheese
Yes.
sauce. Yeah, that was a fave.
Oh, the nice extra big one.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. I also tried the one with like caramel and walnuts or something. Yeah, I loved that. I loved Krispy Kreme's donuts. That was a fave.
How good are they?
Amazing.
Oh.
They're the best donuts, and I typically don't like donuts, but those donuts are the donuts I
They-
had any day.
Even like just the original, like the glazed.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, no,
it's so
absolutely
good.
loved them. And another fave. What was another fave? I think honestly the desserts were my favorite.
Nah.
Yeah, I have a
She went on a sweet journey.
yes.
That makes me
Yeah.
very, very happy to hear.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break
Okay.
and we'll be right back, guys. Hi there, and welcome back to Africa Beyond Borders, where we get to chat to amazing Africans who've traveled beyond their homes. It is all about big dreams, how we carry our culture everywhere we go. Today's guest is Ainley Amunyela, and we're getting into her medical experience as she went to Cape Town. So getting back into it,
Yeah.
you said you also went to Zambia briefly. I want to hear about that experience.
Okay, so Zambia was for a conference. I'm a part of this society that's called CMF, the Christian Medical Fellowship. So it is a society for Christians that are working within the medical sector. And they have a bunch of conferences every now and then. So that was what that was for. It was for that conference, and it was hosted in Livingstone.
Okay.
Is it Livingstone? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But yeah,
When was this actually?
that was last year, round about June.
Yeah,
round about
see.
June last year, 2024.
And I wanted to ask, now comparing the culture from, what was your biggest culture shock for you when you went to Zambia?
I think the biggest culture shock was, I mean, I haven't experienced all of Zambia. There was like
Yeah.
one small town, but it's a lot less developed than what we have here in Windhoek. So just infrastructure, roads, load shedding.
Load shedding is a thing there?
It's a thing there. So there'd be load shedding every evening, I think from around about 9, 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a culture shock. They have different plugs.
Plugs.
Yeah, wall sockets.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they're very different. So we all had Namibian adapters and our regular Namibian chargers.
Wait, plugs are different in different
The
countries?
plugs are different in different countries.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So their plugs were different. So we all had to like do this thing where we put the pen in the one socket so that you can put the charger in the other two. It was a whole
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you'd need if.
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So that was also a bit of a shock because we all rocked up with our regular chargers, our regular adapters that we use back home. But yeah, no,
Livingstone was like, nope, this is
Yeah.
not how we do
this
things.
is not how we do things.
Oh, geez, how long were
Yeah.
you there for?
I was there for about 5 days,
5 days.
roughly, maybe 4. Yeah, yeah.
Did you have any interesting interactions with people that you met there?
I had so many. I think Zambia was it was one of those experiences that just touch your heart and leave it changed forever. Because a lot of the people that I met shared the same passions as me. So they were they were walking with Christ, but
Yes.
also they had a deep passion for medicine and how to bring those two together. So a lot of the senior doctors that I encountered were so wise, in the word, but also wise, like in medical knowledge. And they were so humble. They were so kind. They were just such beautiful spirits. So I loved those encounters with them. Yeah.
Wow, it's just amazing to that you got to experience that for 5 days and meet people with that as well. Did you see any thing that you learned from there? Did you bring it back to Namibia and apply it?
I did. I think the one thing that I think is just like applicable everywhere was a lesson from one of the plenary sessions.
Okay.
And I forget his name, but this is one of the professors that I met there. He is, I think, head of department of the pediatrics department at Grooteskier Hospital / UCT.
Oh, so he was also in Zambia.
He was also
okay,
in Zambia.
nice.
So the conference really brought together people from all across Southern Africa. We had people from South Africa, we had Kenya there, we had Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia. So it just brought together people from everywhere. But one of the things that he touched on in his sessions is that as Christians, we think that for our work to be godly work, it needs to be work within a Christian context. So you're either serving in the church and so forth. But he really emphasized that any work that is done well and done well for God in whatever sphere is godly work. And and he just touched on and emphasized how it should be our heart's desire to, within the medical field, do our work well and do it as if we're doing it unto the Lord. So that stuck with me. It was such a profound message, and I just feel like it's applicable everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just so exciting to hear. And you got to meet people around Southern Africa. That was so cool.
Yeah, I actually made friends there that are really good friends, and we talk every now and again. Yeah, so sometimes like we'd be having a conversation and I'd be like, oh my word, we met at that conference and we've been friends ever since. Yeah, so I've made really good friends from that conference as well, from other countries that I'm still in touch with.
That's just beautiful to hear. Getting more into traveling. What would you say is something that you did as a traveler that you were like, next time I should probably travel this or travel better, like maybe plugs, take plugs?
Okay, what is the one thing? I think having a budget.
A budget?
Yes, but like a proper budget. Because
like how much you're eating today, transport. Okay,
Yes, because I know that like for all the times I've traveled, I had a budget for the big things. So traveling in and out of the country, accommodation, maybe, I don't know, visas or COVID tests. At the time there was COVID. So all the big things were covered, but the small incidental costs weren't really covered. So I would be like, I'm hoping to maybe go to this site or a thing, but I didn't take into account that, I have to take a Uber there, you know. So like the small costs that really would run away, it wasn't a very detailed budget, if I can put it that way. Yeah, so I think that's definitely something I would do better next time. Yeah, but otherwise, I feel like every experience, even with the lack of proper planning. Actually, no, I'm lying. There's really, outside of the not having a detailed budget, I think I'm a very like pedantic planner. So everything is planned to the T. Yeah. So
planning saves lives.
Planning saves lives, and I feel like I have so much peace of mind just when I know that at this time this is what's happening. This time this is what's happening. You know. Yeah. So outside of the detailed budget, because even my budgets, they're not like flimsy budgets, but it's just those little tiny details that I tend to overlook sometimes.
Oh no, that's a fantastic advice.
Yeah.
I just want to see now from your perspective of beauty, traveling to Cape Town and Zambia as well. I just want to find out, what was the most beautiful eyesight nature thing you saw?
Ooh, okay. Let me say one for each town.
Okay.
Or for each city that I've been to. Yeah. So for Livingstone, Victoria Falls. Yeah.
You saw the Vic Falls.
I saw the Vic Falls. It was so gorgeous. It was just, I'm mentally there right now.
Your mind was like,
Yeah. It was so beautiful, and I was just like, wow. Yeah, words fail me, but it was truly beautiful. And for, I think in South Africa, I've been to Stellenbosch and Cape Town. Yeah, so
Okay.
for Stellenbosch, I would say the vineyards.
The vineyards. You know, everyone says the vineyards are so beautiful.
They're gorgeous.
Oh.
They're absolutely gorgeous. You feel like you're somewhere in the south of France, or it's just it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, so I loved the vineyards. And for Cape Town, I feel like for Cape Town, I have to say at least 3.
3, yeah, you should.
Okay.
Vent away.
Yeah, so the first would be Lion's Head.
Lion's Head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hiked up that. It was
Oh, that's you know what I was thinking. I was thinking it's a zoo with a lion's head somewhere.
No.
I don't know why.
I believe it's a mountain. I think it's somewhat may look like the head of a lion. That's why they named it
Oh,
that.
okay.
I'm not too sure on that because I never really asked.
Okay.
I was just like, oh, Lion's Head, the mountain that people hike up. Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, but that was a very intense hike, and it was very scary. But the view at the top, amazing.
Worth it.
It was so worth it. Another thing that I loved was, I think the beaches. Yeah, the beaches were lovely. I think my favorite is Camps Bay.
Camps Bay, I
Camps
heard
Bay.
of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Camps Bay was one of my favorite beaches. And another fave was, what is it called? The Cape Point.
The Cape Point?
Cape Point. I'm forgetting all the names now, but it's the southernmost tip of the African continent.
Yes.
That was, I think that's actually at the top of the list.
At the top of the list.
Of the whole list.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because there was a day we did a mini road trip, so we drove from Cape Town, past like all the little towns or settlements, Kalk Bay, Simonstown, to Cape Point and then back. But Cape Point is, it's something else. The whole thing. The whole thing, it's just so beautiful. There's a tram car that you can take up to the to the top of
the view
of one of the viewpoints, and then you have a great view of the waves. There's a little beach on the side.
Wow.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah.
No, that just makes me so happy to hear. And I actually want to travel with you one day so that we can go see this together again. I absolutely love that. Just in closing, do you have any messages to like new travelers who want to go to South Africa or Zambia? What tip do you want to give them?
I think for anyone that's a new traveler, I would say start small. Start like wherever you can. I know when people say travel, they often think leaving the continent or even leaving the country. But I know that you can always start with your home country. You can start with your hometown even, explore places. Because long before I started planning my first trip outside of the country, I used to explore places around Windhoek. I used to try to explore places around Namibia. But just start small, start at home, start with what you can. But also like eventually with time, you need to leave your home country.
Leave.
You absolutely need to leave your home country. Like I always tell people to not do the disservice of never getting to experience other places and experience other cultures. It just opens up your mind in a way that wouldn't have been possible if the only thing that you're exposed to is what you've known all your life. There's so much more out there. There's a whole world waiting for you to discover it.
Oh,
yeah.
That's just very beautifully said.
Thank you.
Ainley, thank you for joining us today on studio.
Thank you
it
for
was
having
lovely
me.
hearing your story.
Thank you so much.
This is all from us today. If you are if you are interested in more episodes like this, you can join us every Monday at 8:30 p.m. on DSTV channel 285, GoTV channel 25, and oneup2.com. Thank you for joining us, and see you guys then.